everybody.
Hello.
This is actually really cool. Have you all here together in this tiny, hot room, making lots of noise. It's good. I spent 10 years as a high school band director. True story. I knew Mr. Stone well for many, many years. So this is cool. This is really cool. I have a couple things I want to show you, and then I want to ask you a million questions, and you might be able to ask me one or two. We'll see how that part goes. Sound good? But I'm actually here with some really kind of good news about what it is that you love to do and all the different things you can do with the thing that you love to do. That sounded really weird. Take all of that backspace, pretend I never said that, and I'll just say, hi, I'm Dr. Haskell. I'm a professor at Boise State, and I'm the director and head coach of all of our varsity esports programs. And I'll tell you what that means in just a second. That's actually our motto this year. It's going to be a t-shirt, then you know it's official, and it shows up on a t-shirt and a sticker. So, learn, out, plan, out, prep, out, play. Okay, let's start right here. I want to show you a little bit about our program, if I can. And, well, start off with essentially what it is that we do.
Well, we're in overtime. It looks like Colorado State have what they need to pull this out, but Boise State, they're not going to give up without a fight.
Let's see what Boise State bring into the table.
Sound barrier coming out from Boise State. Earthshatter is going to come out from Blitz, and Earthshatter in the previous fight netted Colorado State a victory, but this time around, it's in Boise State's favor, and they should be able to leverage this. No defense, point speed. We talk about textbook plays, and that's about as textbook as it gets. Well, we're in overtime. It looks like Colorado State have what.
We're ranked one of the top 10 schools in the nation in a preseason poll, and of those top 10 schools, only 3 of them qualified for a national championship last year, and we were one of them. Dr. Shelton and our team went to the Live Hearthstone finals in Burbank. We're also the largest collegiate esports program in the nation with 60 students. And in March, we traveled to Las Vegas to the first ever college esports conference championships, but not just for our conference, but anywhere in the US. Isn't that a ridiculous photo? Yeah. But because we were able to move so quickly at Boise State, we got lots of media attention. ESPN has done a number of articles, including a feature on one of our players, which has helped to get the whole university behind it. Coach and student and analyst introduce everybody to the professional realm. There are literally going to be 100,000 jobs in esports in the coming bit. So we're offering undergraduate coursework. Graduate coursework starts up next semester and more. We want to capitalize on the success of the program and the students and turn it into an area of specialization as all these different avenues open up. That's why the College of Ed. Last year we competed about 240 students in both varsity and club in some kind of competitive play. We have 5 varsity games. We do our own broadcasting and broadcast over 200 hours just in the spring alone last year. And it's really cool. And we've also secured a donor team to build
with the varsity program comes a new facility that you guys are building. Why don't you talk to me about that?
Well, we think it's very important that if we're going to do this, we do it right. We intend to be the Alabama of this program when it comes to where we're going in the program. And getting in early has really allowed us to recruit in ways that I think is really a great advantage for the university. So if you're going to be the Alabama or the Boise State as far as football is concerned in esports, then you better have the facility. And we're very serious about putting a facility together.
This is our 6,000 square foot arena and battleground training center. It's actually under construction right now. It'll open this fall, probably November. It'll be the largest in collegiate esports. It'll serve as a training center for our players and a location for tournaments, including the high school championships. All of our games will be played on that stage to a live audience. The arena is configurable up to 400 and a 12 by 12 or 12 player stage. And yes, the carpet will be new there.
We'll put blue anywhere we can put it, by the way, Bill. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I mean, your turf's blue, everything else might as well,
exactly.
right?
But we think it's really important. If you're going to do recruiting, you have to demonstrate to student athletes, I don't care where they're coming from or what the sport is, that you have the finest facility. And we're going to build that at Boise State.
Where do you see Boise State in the world of esports?
Ranked number 1 in the country.
There we go.
There you go. You heard it right here.
Come on, man. You're killing it. It's still pretty awesome. I'll leave you with this one thing. If there's a secret sauce to what we do, it has been the messaging. We've been really successful at kind of getting an emotional response to, specifically to the Boise State tribe. So when Oklahoma announced that they were going to copy us and start their own varsity esports program, Bronco Nation had to welcome them, right? With a video on social media.
Boise State out of the huddle, trailing 42-41, going for a 2-point conversion from the 3-yard line. And it's a big play. It's going to get it! Ian Johnson! They roll the ball to Ian Johnson, and he scores! And the Broncos have won municipal! Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Oh, because they're unprepared.
Yeah, that was kind of low for sure, but
Yeah, bro.
really fun. I actually contacted their director and said, "Hey, by the way, this is coming. Use it. Use it to your advantage." And he did. He immediately showed it to the people he needed to get approvals from, and they were like, "Well, all right, but you're going to beat Boise State, right?" So yeah, Mike Aguilar is the director at Oklahoma, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have kind of some of those relationships and stuff like that. Okay, so my questions for you. And this is going to be a rapid fire. So if you leave your hand up, I'm going to assume that you're like trying to figure out what credits you have. Freshmen, raise your hand high. Sophomores, raise your hand high. Juniors, raise your hand high. Seniors, raise your hand high. Second year seniors, raise your hand. No, I'm kidding. That's good to know. That's good to know. Last year, some of you participated in the first ever state championships in esports. Who was there? Raise your hand high. Who was in it? Who participated? Okay. Anybody go watch? Anybody watch it on Twitch after? Okay, that's required. A lot of people you know. This is going to sound kind of familiar. A lot of people you know are critical of just playing games, right? I mean, some people aren't. Some people are. Parents kind of don't get it. I mean, some dads do because they've discovered a little Fortnite, or they try to talk you into this really, really old game called StarCraft, which they used to play.
I'm a freshman. Yeah, we all do. And we all know that.
No. If they're asking, where's the other N64 controller? That's fair. But well, hold on just a sec. Let me throw this thought out, because I will lose it. It will be gone forever. And you'll say, what was that brilliant thing you were going to say? I don't know. It's gone. The thing that is really interesting about what you're doing, just in playing games, is that you're actually developing some talents. You kind of don't know where they're going yet. That's kind of the way it is with a lot of stuff, right? If you were into building models, or you're into model trains or skateboarding, some of you, kind of, there's a million different things that you kind of don't see you don't see the path to profession in. Well, if you had told me 10 years ago, not only are you going to be a professor of video games, that's not a thing, it can't be a thing, right? Or that you're going to be a professor of esports and a head coach of an esports program, I would have said you are out of your mind. But here's the truth that most adults will tell you is absolutely true. If you ever spend time focused on developing a talent, in recording that, and actually setting goals to develop whatever talent that is, and that includes hom domains, and torque mains, right? To learn as much as you can about something, it will have a place. You may not be able to tell quite where it is. You got to keep the rest of your life certainly in balance, but it has real benefits, right? And you may not even know how to use it. Most teachers will tell you, and adults who are, around my age, 26, 27. Don't you laugh at that? That's nice.
You don't look that old.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like the scholarship. Okay. Most will tell you that that their perfect job eventually just kind of wrapped around them. They chased things that were interesting and compelling. They tried to get good at everything that they were really, really interested in. They tried to find uses for everything, right, that they were learning. They tried to apply it. Then eventually a job wrapped around them. Talking recently with, maybe you know these guys, maybe not. Adam and Tyler Rosen. They work for this company called, maybe you've heard of it, Blizzard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. They are twins, identical twins. The only way you can tell the difference is one parts their hair on the right, the other parts their hair on the left. That's secret information I don't give away to anybody, but I'll tell you, it's Adam who parts his hair on his right. That's how I can tell the difference. Otherwise, they dress the same. They run TESPA, which is the basically the association for all kind of organized play. They plan huge tournaments. They're a huge part of BlizzCon every year. I have to go to BlizzCon again this year for work. It's tough. Please think of me. But they get to put all that stuff on every year. And you're just like, how did you find this job? Honestly, they started at Texas Arlington and just organizing their friends in play. They needed presidents and vice presidents to be in charge of what was going on. They stepped up and said, no, we'll do it. Okay, how many teams we got? And they started off with StarCraft, right? Game of Champions, Game of Kings. Play a lot of StarCraft and you will learn how to get your life in order. You won't make the mistake of putting on one shoe, then brushing your teeth and putting on the other shoe. You will learn build orders to life, right? You will never again go to school with your underwear on the outside of your pants. So you will learn good build orders.
It's true.
It's really true.
Yep.
Build orders are important. But they found themselves in this position because they kept just doing the next thing. They got excited, and eventually someone said, hey, do you want to do that thing that you're really good at, that you spend a lot of time putting your heart into and figuring out how to do when no one else could? Will you come and do that for us, and we'll give you a lot of money? And they looked at each other, because I think all twins immediately look at each other when they're asked a question simultaneously. They do their little twin thing where they communicate non-verbally, and then they turn back and they say, yes. Like in, synchronous, and you're like scared. It's like horror movie twins kind of stuff. That's the way I imagine it may or may not. So, I want to show you something real quick, and then I want you to come up with the perfect question. I want to show you what playing games at a university kind of looks like. That's not the one. This is the one. You ready? Okay, here we go. This is happening.
Since 2016, universities have been adding varsity esports,
leave it right about there.
competitive intercollegiate.
Nope, I broke it. There we go again.
Since 2016, universities have been adding varsity esports, competitive intercollegiate video game teams, with nearly 100 colleges and universities now with official programs. Esports is fast becoming the new college sport. But with any dramatic change comes criticism. How could institutions of higher learning promote something so trivial? But when you look a little closer, esports demonstrates, just like other sports, that it's a pathway to something more.
There's several misconceptions when it comes to esports and its place on the university campus. The first and foremost is that people would say it's not a valuable learning activity. It's not a place where people can learn new job-related skills or maybe get a good industry feel for what's happening outside the university environment. And that's just simply not the case. And all evidence points otherwise. There are so many new jobs. The industry is absolutely booming. People are looking for students that are graduating with experience in things like streaming and technologies, marketing, the whole business side, sponsorships. There's the whole graphics and coding component that involved in esports and other video game type of activities that are really important just in terms of jobs and industry.
And on their way to those careers, students who attend schools with varsity esports programs can compete for their university. But in order to be eligible, students have to meet the same high academic standards as other student athletes.
You have to maintain a certain GPA. You shouldn't be playing constantly. You should have like a certain time frame and like practice for like 2 hours a day or 4 hours a day. You shouldn't be just like overwhelming yourself.
Care about your grades first and foremost. As Dr. Haskell said, he cares about our grades first because we came to college to get an education, to get a degree, and then we also get to do what we love and play esports.
Athletics and other university-sanctioned activities bind students together with purpose, a chance to be part of something bigger than yourself, where we learn to work hard, play a role, lose with dignity, win with honor, all for our school. This is why we play.
Okay, questions. This is the hierarchy as it goes. I'm going to give it to you the same way we do it. I'm going to put up here at the top, God, Spirit, Self. I'll explain that in just a second, right? Then, family. And we'll talk about what that means in just a second here. Then, work. Then, I'm not going to write passion up here because you guys will read that wrong. I'm just going to put game. Okay? So you may put whatever you want in here, model train building. We describe this as the hierarchy of things that need to be super important to you. What goes first? Depending on your belief system, God, spirituality, or self, the importance of self, happiness, doing the right thing, being where you should be when you're supposed to be there, whatever that is, we tell all of our students this comes first no matter what. Don't start a game for us. Don't come to a practice. This goes first. Next is family. Both of these things way more important than our gaming. And then I would say this to soccer players and football players too. Work, and in this case, this is your school, right? For whatever it is that you do for a living, and by the way, you go to school for a living, because if you don't go to school, you don't eat. That'll be just drama, right? And then gaming. And if things are in this order, we actually find that this is really easy to be successful at. Really easy. When you try to put it on top and things are out of balance, the whole world falls apart. We teach our students that this is super important. That's the order. Way down here is like all the other stuff that just doesn't matter, like laundry and personal hygiene. I'm kidding. That becomes your work too, right? So that's one of the things that we teach our students. We also limit them, and this is NCAA, to 20 hours a week. We can't take their time more than 20 hours a week. I don't want them playing more than 20 hours a week. That's too much. The reason it's too much is because you cannot make the improvements that you need to make if you're constantly queuing. This includes our practice time. This includes our competition time. So how in the world do we make 20 hours into climbing? And it doesn't matter what game you play, but there are rules. We never climb alone on games that have a multiplayer queue. Never climb alone. Now, League of Legends players sometimes have to solo queue. One of the other ones is that we limit our role to 6 active champions, heroes, who play Smite, gods. Play a role and only focus on 6. And by the way, those are the only 6 that you ever take into queue. And by the way, this is the correct spelling of Q. I don't know if I did the last letter right. Right? You only take those into Q, your best ones. And only when they're ready. You never start one. You never play tired, sick, or upset. You're never at your best. Right? These important rules. Right? Number 4, you always play with a goal. I don't have any pictures of it here, but our players, their monitors are covered with Post-its. Post-its that remind them that, that they need to get 90 plus CS in 10 minutes. in the first 10 minutes of the game, or the first 20 minutes. They got to be at 210, right? There's just a little one of those sneaky secret things. Play with a goal. I'm going to play Fortnite, but I am going to focus on build fights early game to get better at those things.
Build fights is all like when you're like
Building up and fighting.
Yep. Trying to get the higher ground.
Yep, I'm going to go cut down a bunch of trees in the marsh, and I'm just going to see if I can get in a fight out on the fringe, not wait till the end, right? I'm just going to get good at this. I'm going to, can I sustain a build fight for 60 seconds, even if I lose, right? What are your goals, and how are you going to get there, right? The most important, you saw this just a little bit ago, is that part of this 20-hour time needs to be studied. I have a student who is getting better as a support player in Heroes of the Storm. And I assigned him yesterday. I was like, okay, Alex Straza is meta. We need her in the fight. We need you to be able to play her. I know she's a high skill cap champion, or rather hero, because it's Heroes of the Storm. So what I need you to do is I need you to watch a video, take really, really good notes, go in and try them out in 2 quick match games. Then, I want you to jump back out. I want you to watch another video. Compare those 2 videos. Take lots of good notes. Then I want you to jump in and play 1 or 2 games. We always play with a purpose, right? And here's what's interesting. If you keep this in balance, right, and you share with your families, these are some rules that I have for myself. I never play tired, sick, upset. I'm always playing with a goal. Here's what I'm trying to improve. Here's the path that I'm going to learn these things. You will get better at what you do. It will not surprise you that the worst possible time to queue in any game in North America is between the hours of 8 p.m. and 1 a.m. Most of your losses, you'll find, will come at that time. The better times to do it, earlier Saturday mornings, roughly right after school. Those are the best times for personal improvement because you're in a better position. The group is different. You have less boosters on at that time. You're less likely, unless you're boosting, right? You're less likely to run into some of the problems. And this is really, really important. If we're trying to climb, 2 loss, and you take 1 to 2 hours off. If you're queuing and you have 2 losses, some people say 3, you take a couple hours off. You get away, you do something else, you get better at something else. You don't switch to another game, you physically do something else. And your attitude will always be right. Never perpetuate a losing streak. So, these are some super secrets. What do you got?
So is it 2 losses in a row? 2
losses in a row, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And sometimes, depending on the game, 3 is okay. If we're playing Fortnite, for example, I joke with my son, I think he's got, on console, he's got 30-some wins. On PC, I think he's at 12 wins. I've got like 40 second places, right? Because I follow our esports rule.
You play
Yeah. I'm a career number 2 player. I just can't build fight as well.
Yeah.
And this is super important.
I can't build fight for my life.
It's a skill that people learn. This is our esports motto. Never take a fair fight. Anybody want to guess what that means? Cheat, he says. No, you don't cheat. All right, give me your real answer. I know. I love how I can put the word in. No, not cheat. What else?
Try to get the advantage.
You always enter when you have an advantage. What else? Yeah, you're right.
Playing the best character in the game.
At times.
Be Bayonetta, be Fox, be Meta Knight.
Never be Meta Knight. Friends don't let friends. I'm just kidding.
Meta Knight sucks.
Take advantage of their weaknesses.
Yes, that's a big part of it. In thinking League of Legends, so we're playing against a pretty high level school yesterday in a scrim, and we were soft engaging to wait out the Malphite ult, and then we knew it was no longer a fair fight. Yeah. What else?
So
go here and then here.
Okay.
You're good.
Anything you can do that is still technically allowed to get ahead. anything that will give you an advantage that is not allowed.
Sort of. You want to always compete when you have done everything you can to be ready, right? In some games, that's waiting out ults. In some games, that is focus fire, right? We run a lot of dive, and people are like, dive is not meta. Dive is always meta because 5 people or 6 people melting down one hero and sending them back to spawn is always faster than 1v1. Yes. That will always be universal. So we look for people who are wandering off the payload. We look for healers that are too far back and can't get peel. We look for tanks that have just used their most valuable ability and their only defensive ability, right? Orisa no gold. We hear that called in comms, and we are looking Orisa, dive Orisa, kill. It's just like you go after it. What else? Okay, here's step number 1. Listen. I promise you that if you let whoever it is tell you and thoughtfully get out their ideas, and you're considerate of those, tell me what you don't like about this. I don't know that I agree, but tell me more about, and actually listen. And that's not just listen till they get halfway through the sentence and then say, but you don't understand. That's not listening. That's just a poorly timed argument. Number 2 is give it some time just to consider what it is that they're saying. Is there an S in consider? Your spell check doesn't work on this board, by the way. It's disabled.
It's an S.
Okay, thank you. All right. That wasn't on the PhD test, by the way. You don't have to know how to spell that out.
Well, we all have computers now, so it doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. And the third one is show them. Okay? Listen, consider, and then say, Mom, Aunt Frida. Does anybody have an Aunt Frida?
No.
That's you do? A real Aunt Frida? Love it. Tell Aunt Frida I said hi. Let them see what you do. Let them see it from your position. Have them sit down with you. Say, I want to show you a couple things. Let me tell you why I like this. Let me introduce you to it. Because most of us kind of have, in the beginning, we have a cultural response, right? Most of my generation, if you've got parents close to my age, as some of you probably do, parents in their early 20s, myself, most of them were pushed outside to go play, right? Like, oh, go poke each other with a sharp stick. And then the generation that followed was like, hey, don't go outside. You could get poked with a sharp stick, right? It happens. But we still shouldn't we be sending people outside? No, they'll get alien abducted or Hannibal Lecter or something terrible. Yeah, it's true. All of those things will happen if you go outside. And if you get any sun on you at all, you'll get skin cancer in 5 seconds. So not true. I'm just making that stuff up. But what I will tell you is that if you take the time to consider what somebody is saying, often you can really pick out why they're concerned. Is it that they want to make sure you get good grades? Okay, well we can manage that, right? We can negotiate that. Well, is it they want you to have more friends? Oh, okay. Well, let me show you some of the friends that I have that are real friends and virtual friends. Let me show you the teamwork. Let me show you why I'm so excited about streaming. Let me introduce you to some of the streamers, the clean ones. Don't give them the dirty ones. That I really like and what I want to do. Let me show you.
Don't do Markiplier.
No, Markiplier. He's funny, but yeah. No. I mean, but true. If you listen and consider, you'll often hear exactly what it is that they're saying, and it may not be the first thing you thought it was. So, always good dialogue around the things that you love will allow you to earn a little bit of time and respect. So, cool. I'll say this, and then I'll get the heck out of here. I am going to leave a certain someone with a collection of cool stuff that you will probably want to earn and or win, and he will set the conditions by which you can learn or win that.
Tips.
It includes it's swag, it's some good stuff, but we'll come up with we'll come up with something cool to get you guys over to the lab once it's open. Maybe.